Hello, welcome to Late Night with Kettle Kitchen. I'm glad everybody's here. Hello, Blue. How are you?
I am good, thank you. I'm awake.
That's good. That's always a plus.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring everybody up and I'm going to announce a little change to the way we're going to do things.
Ooh.
We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So we got Tina from Southern
Hi,
Heritage
Tina.
Cooking,
Hello.
JJ and Michelle from Big Valley Living,
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Dale and a visitor, Rooster from 9 Acre Family Farm, Ginger, and I know he's floating around there, Joey from Not For Nothing Homestead, and the
Yep.
two doctors, Daniel and Janet. Welcome for coming, everybody. Welcome in, and thank you for coming, everybody.
Welcome for coming. I'm gonna
Welcome
use
for
that,
coming.
baby.
Yes.
More Starbucks.
Okay. No, that's actually a container I'm just using.
Okay.
Yeah, it's home. Magnificent Germany with Darian. Hello. I haven't seen you in here
Hello.
before. Welcome
It's
in.
been about a minute since I've seen Darian.
Joey is in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Not For Nothing Homestead, Two Doctors Homestead, Dark Lord Minute. Thank you for coming in. Janet Homestead, where you are. Hello. Thank you for coming in. And Susan Ty's in there. Rhonda Towery's in with us. Hello. Thank you for coming. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to kind of open this up for a little discussion, but I've kind of already made my decision last week. We have been talking about the drawbacks of what we're all going through with inflation, rising costs, whatever that entails. It's a bunch of things. And by the end of the conversation the other night, I thought, you know what? Instead of talking about what we're all going through, everybody's feeling it one way or another, and in discussion with Blue, we decided let's start putting some solutions out there. Let's start helping people try to figure some things out.
Yeah.
The premise of that is what Friday Night Live will be for right now. Okay. Because I think this group has a lot of information. There's others that can add to it, and I'm not saying there isn't, but right now we're going to go with this group and let's try to teach people some things. Maybe there are things they're not know. Maybe there are things they already know. It's not a matter of is it new or is it old? It's putting it out there so people can resource it. That's the point behind it. Okay. What say you? All of you.
What say I?
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
Everybody's
I think
good
that's
with
why
that,
we're
I'm
all
assuming?
here. Yeah.
I assumed you're here for a reason, so yes. I just want to make sure nobody has issue with that because that's not what Late Night with Kettle Kitchen started out with for. And it's kind of our conversation still ends up coming back to it eventually. So felt like it was a good place to do it. And it's the conversation we have that lasts the longest. That was the other thing.
Yeah.
We can still do our little chit chats and our little funds and whatnot, but it's the one time we have where we have a blocked out theoretically 2 hours for the night to have the conversation. So what we'll do, and I think the way we'll move forward is we'll take care of business first, and then if we got time, then we'll deal with it from there. So I hope everybody's okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So tonight, our first discussion we're going to have is DIY mixes. And this is in reference more to, say, spices or things you help in spicing or making for seasonings, spices, salads, rubs. I'm missing something in there, I'm sure. Sauces, whatever else it may be. Who do I pick on for? Everybody's staring at me like, oh, God, is he going to pick me first? We'll go with Ginger, just because she's so quiet tonight for some
Well, she's
reason.
named after a spice, so it makes sense.
Okay, Ginger.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So we're going to go with me for my spice mix. Of course, I'm going to come at you with the Wheatalian. We do have a video about this. This was our first contribution to Last Chance Cook-Off over the summer. And some up here were in that, and they remember that. That was super fun. But we did a spice blend. It's an Italian spice blend that we love. So I make it in Parmesan. I've saved an old Parmesan cheese container, and the amounts that I have in the recipe of the yes, Tom Garvey. Hello. Somebody did say we're Italian.
Isn't it funny? He pops in right when you start talking.
I know, isn't that funny? It was like I was willing him to come to the chat. So yeah, we started making it, and when we did it, the increments that I have in the recipe box below in the Last Chance Cook-Off video makes about half of that Parmesan cheese container. So it makes a good bit. It will last you a while. So do you want me to give the breakdown of it?
Well, if you could go through and tell everybody what your measurements and what they are. And my one thing I want to make sure that we are disclosing is how much does it make roughly, and how do you use it? Do you use it? I mean, like in your case, is it just shake over whatever you're using? Do you add a certain amount? That kind of thing.
We generously glob it onto pork and chicken. So we almost treat it like a rub, but it is a spice blend. And we actually have done it on some venison as well. It's really good. And I think
not to be confused with wee sauce now.
Yes, that is very true.
We do. Oh gosh, I just
stumped her, Dale. Now she doesn't know what to say.
I lost my train of thought. Woo! That train left the station real quick. But I think that those Parmesan cheese containers are about 16 ounce, so it'll do about an 8 ounce container, I guess. I think that's how much they are. I don't know.
Usually they're about 16. Yeah,
it's a pretty good amount. Yeah. And I tried to make it easy on myself, but yet add all of the spices that I know that we like. And that would go with an Italian dish and give you a nice blend. So we have 2 tablespoons of thyme, parsley, and oregano. So 2 tablespoons of each. Then 1.5 tablespoons of granulated garlic. And then you have 1 tablespoon of the following: basil, crushed rosemary, marjoram, kosher salt, 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper. And then this is where the secret comes in for me. You put in 1 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes and 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. That's the little twist that it gives it that yum to me. So
have you tried it out of curiosity with regular or fancy paprika, and does it taste different?
No, I've only ever done it with the smoked paprika. I really, but I don't. I mean, that just gives it like an Italian, but then kind of a little bit of a smoky flavor. I'm sure you could do it with regular, and it would be fine.
Right.
I also recently learned how to make bread, thanks to that gentleman right there. And I made, don't get out of the picture. Woohoo. Yes, I made bread.
Woohoo.
And the second time I did it 1 time. Then the second time I did it, I put 2 teaspoons of Wheatalian in the bread as it was mixing, and I made Wheatalian bread, and it was fabulous. We actually had some again tonight with some leftover lasagna that I made.
Nice.
So yes, it is very versatile. You can take all of those spices and you can put it in, your bread. You can put it on whatever protein you're cooking. Oh, we've even done it on salmon before too, which I love salmon. And then
Yeah.
if you want to take out the oregano, garlic, and basil, and instead of using the dried, if you want to use fresh of those 3,
Mhm.
then you could add some oil in it and make it a dipping sauce like they have in some of the restaurants when they bring you a loaf of bread and then they bring you the little dipping sauce. You can use
Yep.
it that way as well. So it's very versatile.
Good. I love that it's one of those things. Let me ask you this, because I don't want to say this unless I'm correct. When you use it, is it similar specifically to like Italian seasoning, or is it different than that? Just
You
it
get
has
those
those
same, yeah, you get those same notes. You know,
Okay.
you get the Italian flair, but you can tell it's just a tiny bit tweaked.
Okay.
And again, I tweaked it just because that's the way that we like it. So I just started making it in greater volumes so I could just shake it on everything.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. It's not just an Italian seasoning, it's an all-purpose seasoning that has an Italian back, is what it sounds like. So
Mhm.
that's a
Yeah.
good thing to have. So. I wanted to say hi to Lori. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. All right.
Never a dull moment.
How about 2 doctors? What do you have for us tonight?
She's up. I don't know how to make anything, so she's
He doesn't. He really doesn't.
I'm not really the one you want to ask about making
Okay,
stuff.
here, I brought props.
She's got props.
I got my props.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna tilt this down so you can see the props here.
She's gonna have Danielle learn how to make it.
Right, she's gonna make it right here on the spot.
Okay, so-
live.
Here, let me
You don't have
bring
to
you
tilt
guys
it down.
So
up.
you
I'm
can see it
not
down there.
making it
Right there.
live.
All right.
Yeah, I should have
So-
done this with Ginger. I'm sorry, Ginger. But
So
here
I
you guys go.
take just, your pint of, a mason jar. So I do, and this is for ranch. This is a ranch dip.
Okay.
It's for either ranch dressing or for ranch dip. So I take half a cup of powdered milk powder and then half a cup of buttermilk powder. And I buy this brand on Amazon because it's cheaper to buy this brand on Amazon than it is to buy the buttermilk powder in the store. Anywhere, even Walmart. So it's half a cup of the buttermilk, half a cup of regular milk powder. And to that, you put that in here. And then to that, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of freeze-dried chives. And then salt and pepper to taste. And then you're going to add, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 3 tablespoons of the minced onions.
Okay.
And then
Not granulated, just for
not
clarification.
granulated.
Okay.
And it has to be the minced ones that are kind of, and then you do dill. Now I like to do 3 tablespoons of dill, but I like mine to have like a lot of dill flavor. So you could back that off to 2 tablespoons if you want.
Are you being dilly with us?
Right.
I'm totally dilling it up. So you salt and pepper it to taste. You put it in here and you just shake it up, and it's going to give you by the time you're done, it's going to give you 2 cups of powder.
Cool.
So then if you take 2 tablespoons of it and put it in like a bowl and put half of a cup of sour cream with it, mix it up, and 1/4 of a cup of water and mix that in. It says mine's different because a lot of them call for milk to be added to it, but I add powdered milk to it.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
So you have your half of your buttermilk that's going to give you the flavor, but I do half regular milk powder so that I don't have to have milk in the house and mayo or sour cream in the house because I don't keep milk
my
in the
friend,
house.
get a gold star for the day because
Thank
that
you.
takes it to the preservation level. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
Right.
trying to
self
say.
shavel.
Because we don't drink milk, so I only keep powdered milk in the house. So I just put the powdered milk. So then you do your fourth. So then you shake it up, and that's going to be yes, ma'am. Did you have a
I'm
question?
sorry. I was just going to ask you the amount again. And you said half a cup of sour cream and how much water?
A fourth of a cup of water, and that's going to give you your that's going to give you like your salad dressing. If you want to do it as a dip, then just don't put the water in. Just
Okay.
mix it up.
No. You get your mix together and you call Dale and say, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?"
Okay.
So you
Nice.
can do it. You could do a dip, or you could do the ranch dressing, or when we weren't keto, I loved to do ranch potatoes, like cut potatoes
Yeah.
and like forts and put like the ranch powder on top of it with some oil, and that was good. So that's how I do it. And this is going to be, it makes 2 cups, so there's about 16 tablespoons per cup. So that's a lot of
32,
servings.
That is a
32
lot.
Have
servings.
you
Yeah.
have you ever gotten to a point where you have figured out roughly, because I'm assuming once you make it, you have a stability level at some point that it can be put in the refrigerator. Have you figured out what that is yet, just in case anybody's
Well, this,
curious?
when it's dry, it lasts,
It'll last
right.
till milk goes bad.
forever.
Yeah.
When
Right.
it's dry. But
Okay.
I take it and I just make it like one at a time. Like I'll just make
One
enough
serving
ranch,
at a time.
one
Okay.
serving, which is the 2 tablespoons with the half a cup of sour cream and the fourth of water. Shake it, and then that's just salad dressing for as long as I need it.
Right.
Which
Right.
doesn't last
Okay, I
very
just
long
thought-
in this house.
I thought maybe somebody might ask or be curious, so I thought I'd go ahead and venture out there. So thank you.
Yeah, because it's only going to give you less than a cup's worth of dressing. And most dressings that you buy are about 16 ounces?
Yeah.
For a
Yes.
single thing. So yeah,
Dark
however
Lord.
fast you eat
Okay.
dressing. That was me. Done.
Dale, you are the keyboard warrior over here with all the jokes, aren't you?
Yes, he is. Him and Dark Lord Bennett are
It's
going back
kind
and
of a
forth, back
big
and forth.
deal. That sounds kind of ranchy to
Ranchy.
me.
Sounds kind of ranchy to me, old son.
Okay.
And
All right.
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Well, I told Tony before we started that we weren't really mixed type people, but that was one reason why I asked Rooster on here, because he kind of is a mix type of a person.
Are we talking like seasoning mixes or alcoholic mixes? Just for
Seasoning.
clarification.
He's not that kind of boy.
I don't think he's a boy anymore, Michelle. He's a
If
man.
you're under 30, you're a boy.
Okay.
But
All right.
he's
Well,
really into making his own steak seasoning. Like,
that being said, you're now bigified, my friend. So go for it.
talk about your steak seasoning.
Ooh.
He doesn't have the measurements, but if you want to watch the measurements, you'll have to watch his Last Chance cook-off video.
Mm.
On
Okay.
his channel.
There we go.
But he makes a habanero steak
Ooh,
seasoning.
spicy.
What do you put in it?
There you go. That was my next question.
So I put, your normal salt, pepper, garlic powder. Then I put, what else was it? Put some Slap Your Mama in it.
Slap your mama.
A tiny bit of cinnamon.
Hold on. I watched a reel the other day. This girl walks up and smacks her mama, and the guy's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It says that smack yo mama.
Now that is one thing that
Serious? Dark Lord Bennett.
he does put in it that is different I don't know if you caught that, but he puts a touch of cinnamon in with it.
It's kind
Which
of like a
cinnamon
spicy
actually,
seed.
so people do know, cinnamon is quite often used in rubs and spices for those kind of spices. So
It's very healthy.
it doesn't shock me.
Is it a rub or is it
Yeah, I mean, I put it on the steak. before
okay? Do you rub it on the steak or do you sprinkle it on?
No,
Sprinkle and press.
He likes to rub his meat.
He goes like
All right, he
this.
rubs it on the meat.
Rub it,
yeah,
or do you
All right.
massage it?
yeah.
We're gonna have
Sounds
to
like
start,
a rub.
All right.
we're gonna have to start putting a rating on these lives.
Right?
Anyway, so the only other mix
Late
that
night with Kettle Kitchen.
All
Just
right.
clarify.
the only other mix I can think that we use in this household is, if you'll notice, our game nights, Nana makes me popcorn. Of course, we make a popcorn. Well,
Mhm.
we make up. So it kind of started with a seasoning that we purchase. Well, then we just have the ingredients sitting on the spice shelf, so we started making it ourselves, which is salt, pepper, garlic, Parmesan,
Ooh.
small amount of sweetener, and then melt butter, mix that in, and put that on your popcorn, and it is amazing.
That sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds like a 7-course meal, not a
Little
snack.
kettle corn flare.
Ooh.
Not that much sugar, because I'm not a big sugar guy. It's just a very, very like dust.
Mhm.
Rooster.
I've always
Let
liked
this 9 acres family guy in here.
Joey said, I wonder the same thing, Rooster.
I know Rooster had a
So, Lori,
YouTube?
Lori,
No, we
Hyman,
just
thank you
followed
for
him.
coming in. Appreciate it.
Follow that kid. I didn't know he
Yeah,
had
we
a
just
YouTube.
followed you, Rooster. You
I
got
didn't
like
know
50
either.
subscribers. You're blowing up.
Yep. Yep. He's moving on up the ladder. Oh, before I move
Darian's
on.
leaving. Bye, Darian. Thanks for stopping
Thanks,
by.
Darian. Thank you.
Thanks for stopping.
Definitely.
Ginger, I
Yes.
hear there's an event going on Saturday. What would that be?
Yes, we are having a 500 subscriber giveaway.
Yay.
Yes, we got prizes. We have prizes.
What
Yeah,
time?
that's awesome. Tony, I hear somebody's going to help me with that. Don't look away. Look down at me like the Brady Bunch. Okay.
You want to say day and time?
Yes, it is
Sorry.
tomorrow. Joey's nudging me. Do you want to say day and time? It is tomorrow, and it is at 4 p.m. Eastern Central Time.
Okay.
Eastern Standard Time. Excuse me, not Central. I don't know why I threw that in there. I'm gonna throw everybody off.
Maybe we could put
3
it in the
p.m.
chat.
Central.
Eastern times.
Sorry.
It's Pacific Eastern time.
That's 3 for
Yeah,
us,
there
Dale.
you go.
Pacific Eastern time?
Pacific Eastern time.
Central West
I'm
Coast.
confused.
Right,
I'm
the Central West Coast.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mash them all up. You know, I love to mash up Walt. So
Walt, yes. Yes.
Walt's my
I'm
favorite guy.
surprised you haven't started talking about Sepper.
Joey.
Anyway.
Wait, what?
Joey's getting,
I don't think so. I'm reading chat, and that's not up for a giveaway. Thanks, anyways.
Joey, we'll talk later, okay?
I was gonna say,
And you
I'm
can't,
pretty sure
and you're not
Nana
giving
at
my
the end,
dogs
she's
away
kinda
either.
What was that, Dale?
I'm pretty sure Nana and I'd be on board because she's pretty handy to have around from what I can see from her channel.
I get first
I
dibs
know.
because I got to do a live with her on a Thursday. So,
Oh, okay.
you know, she's coming to my house where it's nice and warm. She can sit in here, you know. It's all good.
She did
All right.
say it was warm there.
I'm doing a weird snake thing here. Michelle and JJ, how about you guys?
Did we have an assignment tonight?
Yeah.
Don't say that, Michelle.
We have a copycat Lipton onion soup mix.
Ooh.
And
I'm
it's
writing this down.
exactly like Lipton. So we get about 3/4 of a cup to a cup. We got a little wet jar here. And so if you're writing this down, Ginger, you look like you got your pencil and everything going on.
She's doing homework.
Look, I've already written down. I already wrote down, Janice, and I got half of Rooster's. So yeah, I'm busy.
So we're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of dry minced onions. We should have most of these ingredients in our houses. There's only one that we didn't have, and that's the next ingredient. 1/3 of a cup of beef bouillon granules. You could probably grind up one of those little cubes, but that never works out well. So Herbox, make her for blue.
Hold on. I forgot to bring you up. Sorry. There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like $2.50 at our favorite store, Winco, for 4 ounces. And I didn't use the whole thing for this mix, okay? 4 teaspoons of onion powder. Please use powder, not granulated, because that wouldn't dissolve well. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, same thing. If you use the granules, it's not going to be a smooth consistency. 1/4 cup of celery seeds, and you can crush those or ground them. I just usually take and put them on a plate and gently roll like a glass over them, until they're ground up. But you could use one of those little spice, grinders. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1/8 teaspoon of paprika. And I'm thinking you could use smoked paprika if you wanted a little bit different flavor profile. But you take this, and 3 tablespoons is equal to like one of those little packets that you have in your Lipton onion soup mix. So you would get 2 boxes of Lipton onion soup mix out of this that I made today. And those are about $3 a piece now. I can't believe it. So you're going to save significantly. We use it for. Can you bigify me again, please? Just for a second.
Yeah. Hold on.
Thank you. We oh boy, that light's bright, huh? But we made a little bit of and we put 3 tablespoons. Oh, watch this. Props. 3 tablespoons to 16 ounces.
Oh, live demonstration.
How much sour cream was that, Michelle?
Pardon me?
Okay, so there's 2 questions. There's two questions, and I'll get yours in just a second, Tina. Dark Lord Menet asked, can you dry your own beef stock and then grind it? I'm going to answer that because I would assume the answer would be yes. It's beef stock, granules at that point. Tina, what were you asking now? Sorry.
How much sour cream did you use for that?
2 cups.
2 cups.
And sometimes we like a little extra flavor. And I don't like to open up 2 full packets when you're buying it at the store. So this allows you to add an extra tablespoon if you want, and then you can just get a bit more flavor in there. But I use onion soup mix when we make like a crock pot. I can't think of the name of that steak, the one that you hate so much.
Pot roast.
Pot roast. You dump that in there. Also, meatloaf. I've always used this in meatloaf. So 3 tablespoons into whatever, like 1.5 pounds of meat. And you could even make it into a soup if you wanted to by just adding, 3 tablespoons, I wrote it down, to 4 cups of water, bring it to a boil, and then just let it simmer for about 10 minutes. So it's very versatile. It's not just for onion soup dip.
No, that's good. You gave options and many different ways to do it.
This is a good one Sorry.
You already addressed
This
that.
is really kind of the point about it, is that
Mm.
this would be great. Learning how to do these things and have them as alternatives and not having to go to the store, because I'm here to tell you, I'm just listening and just on the surface. And I know Michelle said not everybody has it, but to some degree, some do. Almost everything everybody's mentioned for the recipes are stuff we all have in our cupboards or on our pantry or whatever. And if you're making your own, you're saving yourself money because you already have the stuff there. You're not
Exactly.
spending it specifically just for that reason. So sorry.
I was just going to say that's a really good one, because one of the things that I really miss from Australia is French onion soup mix, because they don't have it over here. It's not a thing.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I've had to buy it from like the import shops.
That kind of surprised me. I figured that was like the
I
whole-
was really surprised, but they're very big on starting, like things like that get made from scratch, but anything that
Right.
says French in the title tends to not be on the shelf either, because there's a thing going on.
A
You
thing.
know, there's a thing that's been going on for a few centuries, you know. So
Yeah.
you know.
We're going to be growing a lot of onions here, so we're going to dehydrate the onions, and then we'll even have more, not only home, you know, things in our pantry, but things that we grew. We know how they grew, and we know there's nothing on them. So
if you have beef broth and you have your dehydrated onions, can make your homemade French onion soup.
exactly, yeah.
Yes. Ooh, it's so good. It's good.
That's a great idea.
Well, I wonder for the beef broth, because I said maybe on that, and I wasn't necessarily trying to be cute. I mean, you'd probably have to have a freeze dryer, right? I don't know if you could. Like,
No, you can.
No, you can dehydrate it as well.
Oh, can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on a fruit leather mat.
Okay. Yeah. No.
You can still do that with veggie broth as well. So
Yes.
Learned on it.
So there was a bunch of things being said is the only reason why I was saying something. Michelle's right. It would be your leather. What do they call that? Leather wrap.
Leather mat.
Fruit leather mat.
Yeah, it's for your leather wraps that you make in the dehydrator.
It's just a tray.
They're non-slotted. Yeah, it's like a thing.
Yeah.
And you
like
gotta
a
be careful with it though. Yeah, you don't want it to run over, that you're not trying to put that much on it, obviously.
I was able to get silicone ones from eBay for the square one that I have. So they just like they just literally got a very small lip on them, so you know you can use those
There
as
you
well.
go.
Oh, there you go.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so you're pouring the liquid in that
The regular
circle.
one.
Yeah.
It's
You just
got
pour it
like
into that
about an
circle
eighth
and
of an
fill them
inch
out.
that comes up, and it holds the liquid until it's dried out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
you
had no
can't do
idea.
it.
I
We
assumed
have those.
freeze dryer.
I have square silicone
No,
mats.
No, I know you have the mats. I just didn't think you could dehydrate beef broth.
Yeah.
Now, if you
Now, I've
caramelize your
heard-
onions and then dehydrate them, then
Could do that too.
they can go right into French onion soup. Because French onion soup
You ready for another
usually
trick?
caramelized. Well,
Sure.
Take beef broth, and I do the sweet onion jam. Put that in your beef broth.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Is there real sugar in
Oh,
that?
it is so. No, there's no sugar in it at all.
Okay, good.
Not in what I do. There's no sugar in
I
it.
need that then, because that's keto.
It makes it uses balsamic vinegar is what it uses. That's the breakdown
Oh,
of it.
yum.
Yum.
So now there are people that you use brown sugar and some people do use white sugar. It is done, but the one I do, I don't. So I'll get that and I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
At Prepping for Heaven, yes, you need to get a dehydrator. And these Nescos, they are not expensive at all. You can get them at Target. You can get them on Amazon. They're always about the same price. And you can
Walmart.
get extra trays. I don't go to Walmart, but yeah, I'm sure they have them. I think we have even seen them at some of the sporting goods stores, the nationwide sporting goods stores.
Yes. I've seen them there too.
Yeah.
Do the fruit rolls turn out tasty and good from the dehydrator? I'm assuming like
Oh
the
man,
store.
Tom said there's sugar in balsamic.
Oh.
There is. Yeah.
My Italian heart just died.
Just throw a flag in there. He just threw a flag.
Yeah,
Said,
yeah.
nope. Bam.
That's
now
it.
It's got sugar.
Tom, you're no longer a referee.
Man, I thought it was
You're
just
done.
like aged in barrels. Oh.
There's
Like
okay,
magic-
so the-
Like
I-
magic
if-
sugar-free
Hold on.
barrels.
If
What
you
would-
get the if you get
You
the
can get it sugar-free
expensive
on Amazon.
balsamic, the proper Medina balsamic, there should not
Yeah.
be any sugar in it except for the natural sugar from the grapes.
Yes.
That
That's
is all
true.
the sugar that should be in there. But if you get the cheaper stuff and the glazes, they are loaded with sugar.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're willing to spend, then
But
yeah,
the
you'll
sugars
get
can
balsamic
still
without
spike
it.
the sugars can still spike your blood sugar even if they're natural. So
Yeah,
you know,
Oh,
because
heck
you have to
yeah.
be careful with fruit, carrots,
Yeah.
corn. You know,
Fruit's not on keto.
yeah.
in them.
Just pour in some applesauce and it's really good. What?
In what?
Into
Wait.
what?
Can I ask Dark Lord Minute? Is you
Oh, the
put
fruit roll
applesauce
thing.
He's
in
talking
one of
about the
those
fruit
trays
rolls, I think.
as a fruit and then it dries up as a
I'm
fruit
sure
roll?
fruit
Oh,
balsamic.
hello.
Yes.
I'm trying that tomorrow.
Hello.
Maybe
See,
Sunday.
It's not
tomorrow, maybe
only
Sunday.
it's not only about us teaching, it's us getting taught as well. See, that's what this is
Wow,
about.
I love my applesauce too. My applesauce that I make.
All right.
So to make it as a fruit roll up.
I'm moving on.
Tom feels like
welcome in,
you're
Fran.
not. You're my
Thank you for
teacher,
coming.
Tom. You're not the sugar
Okay.
police.
Yeah.
We
You're
all
my
want to be
teacher.
better people around you, Tom. That's all. We all want to be training, and here I am eating a stinking potato chip.
Tom, it's okay. You can be the sugar police because I've been called the canning police, so that's fine. We can be good company together. Tina, we'll move up to you now. How about you?
Mine is pretty boring because I like stuff that I can just grab. And so
Right.
I keep a little seasoned salt instead of buying like the Lowry's or something like that.
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen the back of a Lowry's bottle, what's in there, but it scares you. I don't know
Yep.
I don't know what that stuff is.
Mm.
And so my seasoned salt, this makes a half a cup, and I got this cute little jar, this cute little
Aw.
There you go.
little pear jar. I got several of them. I got them 2 for $1 at Hobby Lobby, you guys. They
Mm.
hold a
Nice.
half a cup. They hold a half a cup.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
Cool.
Bigify
good.
her, Tony. Bigify her.
Oh,
Yes.
who's running this show, people?
Well, obviously not you.
It's a little candy.
Aww.
That is
It-
cute.
They're so cute.
It holds a half a cup. And so for the seasoned salt, there's 1/3 of a cup of salt. I use kosher salt. 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder. Actually, I use granulated though. 1.5 teaspoons of celery seed. 1.5 teaspoons of paprika. A
Go
half.
slow, Tina. Go slow. Go slow.
I'm sorry. Where are you?
I'm back at 1.5 teaspoons of granulated garlic.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you got that down?
Yep.
And then 1 1/2 teaspoons of celery seed.
Okay.
1 1/2 teaspoons of paprika.
Okay.
A half a teaspoon of onion powder. I use granulated though. You can use whatever you want.
Okay.
And a half a teaspoon of ground mustard.
Ooh.
And that's just, it tastes just like the Lowry seasoned salt, and you can put that in anything. I even season eggs with this.
I love to season fries with Lowry's.
Yes.
Yes.
This will keep for a year up in your spice shelf.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
If it lasts that long, it sounds too
Yeah.
good to last that long.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I have made like 3 or 4 of these at a time and put them up there. And then I put the dates on them when I pulled them so I could see how long. And then right about, I think at a year, I pulled the very last one and it was still good. But it's like, I don't know if I would push it past that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That sounds awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's really good. And you, like I said, I even put it on eggs.
Nice.
Salt and pepper. You put it in everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Tastes great on an avocado, by the way.
Oh, I can only imagine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is,
Oh, that's a good idea. Did you see Annie's
it
comment?
is. Yes, I did, producer lady.
Well, we're gonna
That's-
make a video of ours too, and just show different ideas.
Do any of you have videos for anything we've talked about so
I
far?
actually
I know
have
we haven't gotten to
one.
blue yet.
I have two. Can you believe it?
2 videos?
I do.
Okay. So the recipe for Tina's can be found on Southern Heritage Cooking.
But wait, I didn't post it yet.
Oh, you haven't done it yet? Okay.
I'm editing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we hope that by next Friday these videos will be posted, or they'll be posted, or you send me a link or something, and then as I get them in, I'll try to put them into the description box of this live.
I even did Tina's channel.
You spearheaded.
I have a second seasoning mix, by the way.
We'll get there in just a minute. We're going to do the first run through. Okay. I have a feeling you're about the only one that has two, so we'll come there when we get there. So we're going to go to Blue.
Okay.
Miss Blue.
Yes.
What do you have?
I do have a video for this. Because I did a series on herb and spice blends about 1.5 years ago. So I have a whole playlist on different ones. But the one I wanted to bring to show you was Ras Al Hanout. Now, this is a Moroccan seasoning that if you buy it in the shops over here and you get like the little jars, they're probably about a fiver, but they're nothing like the actual spice blend that you make yourself, because the one you make yourself is definitely more potent and has all of the things in it. This is a spice blend that has about 15 different ingredients in it. Yeah, I'm just counting them up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Yeah, there's 15 different ingredients in it. Okay, so you're looking, I mean, like, I make a lot because I use a lot, because I use it in all sorts of things. Far out. I'm just trying to work it out. You're looking at you're looking, because it even has rose petals in it, rose buds, and dried lavender. So you may or may not have them. You may or may not have them in your garden, but if you have them in your garden, you know, you can just pick them and chuck them in. So, I mean, for this one, I was probably looking at about 20 small rose buds. I put in it. I put, which is around about a cup of rose buds. Then you've got a tablespoon of dried lavender, a tablespoon of nigella seeds, not onion seeds, nigella seeds. They are different.
I've never heard of nigella until you, other than Nigella Lawson, of course, but
yeah, no, nigella is an actual thing.
Okay.
1 tablespoon of star anise, 1 tablespoon.
What's that?
Star anise.
Oh,
Star
star
anise.
anise. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. It's because I tend to buy whole spices because they last longer on the shelf. I can keep them for several years, whereas if they're ground, you can only keep them for like a year, maybe, if you're lucky. So
Yeah.
I prefer to do that and grind my own. So then 1 tablespoon of whole cloves, a tablespoon of ground mace. Now, mace is what you find around the nutmeg. It's that sort of yellow netting that comes across over the top of the nutmeg. So if you don't have mace or you can't find it, then probably you could use nutmeg but use half as much if you're going to use nutmeg. 2 tablespoons of dried mint leaves. 2 tablespoons of ground turmeric. 2 tablespoons of ground ginger. 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds. 2 tablespoons of black peppercorns. it's 6 dried chilies, okay, or a tablespoon of red pepper flakes. I use 4 sticks of cinnamon, or you could use a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. And I use probably 2 tablespoons of allspice berries if they're whole. If you've only got ground, then it's 1 tablespoon. And then I use 2 tablespoons of cardamom pods. But if you can only get ground cardamom, then it's only like half a tablespoon. But you get a huge jar. You get a massive jar. And like you can use this for anything. Like I use it in rice. I use it on in salads. I make dressings from it. You can put it on meat. You can use it as a rub, or you can use it in a gravy. You can use it for all sorts of things.
That's good.
It in casseroles and everything because, it's got that really deep earthiness that is really good in winter. And that's when I really love having stuff like this around because it's like it just adds something different.
Right.
No?
You know what I'm thinking, Blue? I'm thinking that would be awesome in moussaka.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be? Oh, that would be so good.
In what?
Moussaka.
I'll be looking that up because I don't even know what
like
that
the
is.
Moroccans let you hear that say that, but
I was wondering the same thing on that. I don't know what moussaka is.
Thank you. I don't feel like
what?
Moussaka is like a Greek lasagna, but made with eggplant, aubergine instead really with the mince, and yeah, it's amazing.
It's good.
It's really amazing. It makes really nice Moroccan meatballs too.
Ooh, that would be good too.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the name of it again, Blue?
It's Ras, R-A-S. L-E-L. And then Hanout, H-A-N-O-U-T.
Okay.
But the only way that you're going to get it so that it tastes right is to make it yourself. Because if you do buy the stuff in the packages in the shops, I've noticed on the back of the labels, they've only got about 5 or 6 different things in it. That's not Ras Al Hanout. That's just Moroccan seasoning, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, gravy, definitely gravy.
Blue,
Yeah.
I was asking, it sounds amazing other than I have an allergy to lavender. How much is it going to change the taste of it if I leave it out?
Not that much.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Not
okay.
that.
Lavender's got an allergy to you too, so
that's fine.
Don't put it in there. If you've got allergy to anything, don't put it in there. It's not gonna. The ones that you get in the shops don't have the lavender or rosebuds. I can tell you that for now. But this is the closest that you'll get to what you'll find in Morocco if you go. But yeah, if you can't do the lavender, then don't do the lavender. If you can't do the rosebuds, don't do the rosebuds. It just, for someone like me who knows what it's supposed to taste like, I will notice, but it won't detract from the actual full earthiness of the whole thing. I mean, like, I am quite happy to just sit here with an open jar and sniff it.
She was doing that earlier.
I was. It's my happy place. This jar is my happy place. Okay. So, yeah.
She said, she told me earlier, she said, you know how people smell coffee and they love it. And she starts sniffing the jar.
Yes.
Hey, only thing I can say is at least she wasn't smelling her armpits.
Valid point.
Yes. Did you see
Sorry,
what
not even
Tom
I want to
said?
go there.
Wow.
Did you see what Tom said in the chat? Damn it, Marie, get the pots
Yes,
out.
I did.
Start
He's
making
ready
stuff,
to
Tom.
try some.
Yeah.
All right. So now mine is one simple thing that a lot of us, I think, use. Maybe I'm wrong.
Make yourself big.
Bigify you.
Can't
Bigify
get
ya.
any bigger. I'm a big guy, so it's kind of hard to do that.
Come on, take over the
Full
screen
screen
already. There you go. Hi. How's it going, Tony?
Anyways,
Did I hear a little whistling back there?
Ooh, what do you got?
Oh, yes. That
Oh.
looks good.
there we go.
Okay.
So that is
pencils in
my
hand.
jar. Do what?
I said pencils in hand. I'm ready.
No,
I
I
got
don't need to
mine
be
too.
big because that's all I got for you. So I will tell you what's in this and what it is. This is our taco seasoning, and this has been a year and a half in the making. Okay. This wasn't something that was just thrown together because we, the kids, are very specific about what's in their taco season. Okay. So them not being able to tell me what was wrong with the taco seasoning, I had to venture out and pick one thing and put it in and then take it out and then pick another thing. You know, it was a trial process. That's the easiest. So
Tell
this
Dale to stop.
there, now he stopped.
Uh-oh.
Oh, bless
no,
him.
not like that.
He's like, it ain't stopping me.
Haha.
That was
Hey,
That-
Teresa.
That's actually rude, Dale. Now that I think about it, you see a bat in the cave. All right. Oh, Teresa joined us. Thank you for coming in. Okay, so this will make 36 to 39 teaspoons, and I'm specifically labeling it teaspoons because of how it's made. Okay. So here's what's in it: 5 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder.
Oh,
One-
come on.
Wait
Come
a
on.
minute.
Let's
5
go.
tablespoons
Type.
of chili powder?
5 tablespoons of chili powder.
I'm dead. I'm out.
2 teaspoons of
I'm
garlic.
dying.
2 teaspoons of garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. I'm waiting for Ginger. If you want to, you can add 1 teaspoon of red pepper flake, but because of the chili powder, we don't add it.
Okay.
1 teaspoon of oregano.
Is that Mexican oregano, sir?
I have never used it, so I'm going to say no, it's not, my friend. I don't
Okay.
even know what that tastes like. I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it tastes like. 3 teaspoons of paprika, and I use fancy paprika. I don't know what it would taste like with the smoked or regular, so you can do what you want there. 3 tablespoons of cumin.
Yes.
Yes.
5 teaspoons of salt. That's by taste. Okay. That is the salt flavor they like. So that's what we stick with. If you don't want it, don't make it that salty. If you want more, add more. That's up to you.
Hey, Tony.
Pink, kosher.
I use sea salt or pink
Sea salt?
Himalayan salt. That's the 2 I use. If you want to use something else, that's up to you. Yes, Tina.
Okay.
Just not black salt.
I'm not sure I could get past the 5 tablespoons of chili to taste the salt.
It doesn't. You don't taste it though. I mean,
Really?
yeah. All this
That
blends
sounds like
together.
a very this sounds like it has a really good deep flavor to it.
It is a deep
doesn't sound
flavor
like
to
it
it.
has
Yes.
too much of one thing or another. You'd probably be
No.
trying to figure out what's in it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Here's the point. Jaden's not a big taco eater, but she will eat the tacos. But Isaiah's a big taco eater, and he eats this all the time, and he is picky on what he eats. So
Okay.
and then I have 3 teaspoons of ground black pepper. That's in the original recipe that I have, but I've honed that down because the black pepper has a tendency to be a little hot. So that's a thing you'd have to figure out, but I'm giving you what the recipe says, so that's what you go with. Okay, so that's it. I stick it in a jar and I just shake.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I add 1 teaspoon per 1 pound of meat and a half cup of water. That's what I do. So theoretically, this, if you follow that, should cover 36 to 39 pounds of meat. I can't beat that price
Oh no!
when I have all those spices here in my house already.
When you consider those packets that you buy of it are like, that's a couple teaspoons worth.
Yes.
1 pound.
Oh, can it or skin it.
There you go.
Could do all of these mixes on a can it or scan it.
Yeah, throw them in there.
Yeah. So that's it. It's pretty simple, pretty plain. Again, it's more of a, you know how you almost kind of get that fakey taste in a packet, or it's over salty or something. This has got layers in it, and I think that's why it works together so well, because it's not obtrusive with chili powder or cumin is a little strong, but
but it's so good.
It's good. I mean, so
that's my favorite spice. Well, no, it isn't.
Yes, I do love that one too.
And again, like Lori said, she can eat chili powder or cayenne, but oregano gives me heartburn. It's going to be dependent on what of those things you can and can't have, but this is what we use. This is something you can make out of the spices in your cupboard, which is what I'm throwing out there.
You
So,
can swap margarine for oregano.
I don't think we're doing songs.
What was that?
I think Blue and I might have been saying the same thing. There's a lot of oil in oregano. I could see how it would give people heartburn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you can swap it out for margarine, which is actually the wild version.
Okay.
Oregano is the farmer produced, created from marjoram. So, yeah, you can swap it out for that without too much hassle.
See, we taught another thing tonight that some people may not have known.
So, Tony, when you're making the tacos, do you use like 80-20 hamburger, or what kind of meat do you use?
Most of ours is 80-20. We have tried, wasn't that 93.7? The last not 80-20 we tried it with was 83.7. I had to add a little more water to it because it was
a little dry. Yeah. I actually like the 80-20 because it's a little more oily.
So I have a little stuff. I have a little tip.
Okay.
I learned it from a dietitian that I had on staff for a while, because we had a lot of our patients that were on low sodium diets, so we had to make our own spice blends. But when you do stuff like when you get a taco spice at the store and you use it, it has that, it kind of coats the meat and sticks to the meat almost like a gravy. But when you make it yourself and you spice it at home, I don't know if you've noticed, but it's more watery and it doesn't. Right. So you just add cornstarch to your mix.
Okay.
So
that's a good idea.
If you add a bit of cornstarch to your mix, then it coats the meat and it gives you that adherence that you're used to in the packets.
So just so you know, and it kind of goes along with what you're saying, because that's actually a good idea. I never thought of that, and it does make sense from the cooking aspect of it. But the reason why I said I add 1 teaspoon and then a half cup of water is because I get it all mixed together and then I let it recook down again. And by the time 15-20 minutes on, not high, obviously, but a lower heat, it's kind of cooked that liquid down enough to where it started coming back onto it. But with the 70, what is it, 73-20 or whatever, that the next lower level of
Right.
ratio for the hamburger, you don't ever get it out there because it's just so much grease in there that's just constantly coming out. So it doesn't work very well with that, but the 80-20 it does. And then with the 93-7, we've had to add a little more water. So it depends on what you got and how your meat is. But I like that starch idea because I didn't even think about that. So.
Yeah, and if you don't like cornstarch, tapioca starch is supposed to work this
Or
way
even
too.
arrowroot, which is what they use in
Arrowroot,
nursing
yep.
homes.
Yeah, or arrowroot powder.
Yep.
Alvin
Yeah.
Lewis has joined us. Thank you for coming in. So I know Tina has another item she wants to. Does anybody else have more than what they've already talked about?
Oh my gosh,
I
I'm
got a
running out of
cupboard full,
paper.
but you know, that would be naughty.
Do what?
I said I got a cupboard full, but that would be naughty.
Yes, that would be naughty. Ginger, what did you say?
I'm running out of space on my paper. But that's okay. It's all great, fantastic stuff. I'm very excited to make a whole bunch of little cute little jars in my cupboard that I can go to myself.
You
need
could
a big jar
actually.
for this one. I'm
What
just
was
saying.
that?
Do
What
I?
was that?
I said you need a big jar for this one.
Yeah.
That's half of the mix. I've gone through half of it, so
Wow.
you know that's half of it. So yeah, I'm just saying.
So Tina, go ahead. What's your next one?
I have, it's like comfort food, and I'm just going to give you the spices, and I'll tell you what it's for. It is for hamburger helper cheeseburger macaroni. Who does not love that?
Yes.
But I do not like that box.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say homemade. I like it, but I don't like the boxed version of that.
Yeah. Well, the ingredient list is like this long.
Right.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's huge. So this actually makes, and I put it in a little jar. Actually, I put it in this.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, Janet. I knew exactly what you were talking about. That's why I added that. Yep. Yep. 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of sugar. And you can leave that out. You don't have to put it in there. And then it's just, I put the seasonings in a jar and I add 1.5 cups of elbow macaroni and I just shake it up. And then when I'm going to use it, I grab a pound of hamburger, brown it off, dump this in with a cup of water, 2 cups of milk, cover it. And then I let it cook until the macaroni is done. And then I stir in a cup of shredded cheese and it's delicious.
It's homemade hamburger helper.
Yeah, it's like an MRE right there she's got going.
That's awesome.
I like that.
Nice.
So how much macaroni did you put in that jar?
10 pounds.
1.5 cups. And that actually makes 4 servings.
Oh,
and
wow.
the way I figured this out, what this cost, 75 cents a serving, and it makes 4.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a much better deal than the stuff at the store.
That's better than ramen cheap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it comes out really good. And if you're in a really big hurry, like when you get home and you're really hangry, like I am on that Tuesday thing, if I can get in the door like a half an hour before that starts, I can do this. And I'm golden.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to repeat something. It was 1 cup of milk and 2 cups of water, or 1 cup of water and 2 cups of milk?
1 cup of water, 2 cups of milk.
Okay, I had it backwards.
And then when it's cooked, then you just take a cup of shredded cheese and just stir it in there. It's so good.
The whole time you're sitting there reading the ingredients, I'm like, okay, that's great, but I'm not hearing the cheese. I'm not hearing the cheese. I'm not hearing the cheese.
The cheese.
We're a
He hits you
cheese
with the
house
cheese.
here, man.
And then if you make a nice salad with that, it's delicious. So a nice salad
You
with
got Patty back here saying, I want to make
Janet, ranch dressing. Oh, there you go. See, there's dinner.
See, we could put that together.
Yeah.
I'll come to your house. You come to mine. We'll hook it up.
Right. All right.
There you go.
Now, Tina, are you going to add that recipe into your other recipe on your video that you're going to put out? Or are you going to put out both of them together like a twofer?
I'm probably just gonna do like a twofer. This is just so fast. It takes like 2 minutes to mix that up.
Did everybody lose JJ and Michelle, or was it just me?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
I'm just
we all
making
did.
sure it wasn't me. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we all did.
So if you guys want to, the other option we have, and I don't mind doing it, if you guys can take a little minute, put an email out to me with what your ingredients are, I can put them in the description box, and then I'll attach your handle to go with it and say, go check out for videos. If they have them, they'll be there, you know, that kind of thing. It's up to you guys. So that's fine.
No, that sounds great. I can do that.
What was that? Oh yeah, we lost it.
Their laptop lost its Wi-Fi.
That's something I grabbed that I was going to show, and I don't know if this falls on this week as a sauce or a mix, but we found this bottle.
Little thing.
Yeah, and it actually has recipes on it. So,
that
if you want to make Italian herb dressing, you
very
actually
cool.
fill it up to those levels. It's got creamy Caesar, sesame scallion, and like literally, it's just all different recipes.
Now you're making me
dressings.
hungry, and I'm not hungry.
Yeah, and it tells you the recipe and like literally how much to fill it up in the jar.
Which you can see clearly I don't follow because this is my Italian.
Right.
That's my red wine vinegar. And that's my oil.
Yeah, but it was just something I would figure it kind of almost falls into this.
I like a
I
secret
love how she
vinegar.
grabs it and says, "I clearly don't follow."
I don't follow.
Right. I could follow this. I'm saying this.
You
I could totally make something on this here.
What,
It tells
Dale?
you what to put in it.
I picked up 2 of those bottles at the Amish store. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really?
I was gonna say,
Yeah, at the Amish store. I think they were a piece.
Go ahead, Dale.
she follows her own recipe like any true Italian
Oh yeah.
would.
That's right.
It's called
That's
cooking
right.
with the ancestors.
I mean, like when you look at it, like who eats Italian dressing like this? That's all vinegar.
I know.
That's oil.
Funny. Isn't it usually a different ratio opposite of that?
It's the opposite, but I
Yeah.
mean that's how I like it.
I love it.
Didn't you
Where
like
did you-
one time she woke up, she's like, I had a dream and my nana told me a recipe for something that we used to eat as a kid, and she woke up and like, I know the recipe now.
I did.
And she started making it.
Mhm.
Wow.
Just out of nowhere.
It was
like-
our stuffed artichoke.
Right. She's like, I know the recipe now. Like,
Oh,
there
okay.
you go.
And I made it that year for Christmas,
Yeah.
and all my sisters were like, "Man, that tastes just like Anna Marie's."
Yeah.
Yep.
Like out of a dream.
So God rest
So,
her soul. She came to me to
the-
let me know.
The big question, Janet, is where'd you get the bottle from?
HEB.
This, I think we got
Y'all
HEB.
don't have HEB in any
Right.
state except Texas.
Tony, you need to come down here by my house and go down the road to the Amish store.
You have an Amish store?
Yes.
She's got an Amish store an hour and a half.
Right. Looks like they're going on a field trip.
Yeah.
They
We
have
have one too. It's
I
about
do.
45 minutes away, but we love going to it.
I do too.
Ooh.
You find stuff in there that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
Like a 50-pound bag of beans.
Yes. And a 150
Amazon has
pound
them.
bag of oatmeal.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
All right. So
I'm
that
just saying that
face,
Amazon has them, so you know you
Well,
should be able
true.
to find them. Yeah. Or they have similar.
I'm looking.
And
here.
just for Annette, for anybody looking, I did look. You can get the bottle on Amazon. If you
Oh,
look
okay.
for salad dressing shaker bottle, this
How
one's
much
got
is
the
it?
recipes.
How much is
This
it?
shows $16.
It's a
You
dollar.
might find a better deal.
It's a
Ours
dollar.
is $21.72.
Oh,
Is it really?
Yeah. Wow.
Uh-oh.
See, I would have thought it'd be something I could find in Poundland, but apparently not.
Oh, this shows. Well, here's
Oh,
another
that
one
one's
for
it?
$8.
Yeah, get the
So I guess
$8.99.
shop
It's
it
the
out a
same
little
one.
bit.
Yeah.
This shows $8.
You need to scoot over a second.
Yeah. So definitely get a good price on it.
So Tony, it's bushels.
Okay.
Look it up on the internet. They have a Facebook page too.
Oh, nice.
Time out.
No.
An Amish store has a Facebook page.
Yeah.
I know.
It's not.
I thought the same thing, but
All right. It's Mennonites. Sorry, there's a
Oh,
okay. All right, that counts then.
Yeah.
It's
And you know what? I don't know about yours, Tina, but our Amish store, when you go in, okay, they have loaves of bread that they bake and they put them up on the racks, but they make round 10 of cinnamon rolls that are like this big each, and they are loaded with the cream cheese icing. Oh my gosh, those things are to die for.
Ginger,
they make
you
it
have a bread recipe that will do the same thing.
You know, they make them down here too at our Amish store. But the first time I ever went in there, they had the big rounds of cinnamon rolls that had the white cream cheese icing on it. And then they had one that was dark. It was maple flavored.
Yep.
And I was thinking, gross, there's no way. And so when my daughter went in with me, she goes, I got to, Mom. She goes, curiosity is killing me. So she got it, and you'd be surprised. It is so good.
It is good.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
A lady right here is famous for making her cinnamon rolls. Like they auction them off for fundraisers at the local school. People pay like $100 per pan for like a 9x13 pan of her cinnamon
What?
rolls.
Holy cow! I need her recipe.
Her famous one is peanut butter cinnamon.
Yep. That was the other one I was going to bring up. And there's a fourth one I've had or I've seen. I haven't had this one. Nutella. Putting Nutella over the top.
Mm.
So.
Oh, can you just imagine using cookie butter, Biscoff cookie butter?
Oh my.
I've never even heard of that.
Scotty just parted for Ginger.
I'm simply going to say she went to some other place for a moment.
I did. Oh my gosh. I love Biscoff. You've never had cookie butter before, Michelle?
Are you talking about biscotti?
I've had
Biscoff.
No, I've heard of
No. Biscotti is a bread that, hold on. I'll get a prop, Janet.
Okay.
We love our props.
Because I wasn't sure what we were talking about.
The people that make the Biscoff cinnamon biscuits have made a spread out of it.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The digestive biscuits?
Yeah.
No. These are the little square cinnamon ones that you sometimes get in a little packet sitting next to your coffee.
Time out. Did you say digested like it was regurgitated?
Digestive biscuits. Does anybody else know what digestive biscuits are?
Like very high in fiber biscuits.
Okay.
Yes.
Here it is, Michelle.
I've had those crackers before.
Okay.
I've had the
Cookie
crackers.
butter.
I have never seen that.
Oh my, this is, let's get this correct.
Is it like
here.
peanut butter or?
It's cookie butter.
It's cookie butter.
Tony, Biggie Ginger.
How many carbs are in that? I just want to know so I can know if I can eat it.
Biggie Ginger.
Okay, let's
see your biggest side. Put it up there.
Each teaspoon, wrong one. There we go. Each teaspoon is, each serving size is 2 tablespoons and total carbs 17 grams.
Oh, I just heard
That's a day's worth of
That's sad.
It's
Janet pie.
And you will find it right by the peanut butter.
Okay. Is it peanut based or what is it made of?
No, it's biscuit base. It's the base of the actual Biscoff biscuit, but they've like made that into a spread.
Oh my
But there's no peanuts in it. There's no nuts in it at all.
Like
No,
when we
you're-
get, I
you're
get the almond
absolutely
butter,
right.
it's just right by that.
Yeah.
And Blue knows her stuff too. Because that's exactly what it said. The first ingredient is the Biscoff cookies. So I
Yep.
make a cookie butter cheesecake. I have the I
Yeah.
have the video on my in my playlist. That is the best dang cheesecake because you use the cookies to make the crust and you use this
Oh yeah.
Oh
and drizzle
yeah.
it on the top. I mean, it is so good.
Those cookies are really good.
They
They
are.
are.
The butter is
They
delicious.
are dangerously good.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So
I have a
dangerous.
couple of packs of
Ginger
those.
has eaten stock out of that place. Okay.
Oh, that's right. You were on the phone with us the other night. We were on the phone with Tony, and he's like, "What are you eating?" And I'm like, "Biscoff cookies."
Biscoff
I
cookies.
love them. They're
As
so
she's
good.
chipmunking them. Like,
Yes, she
was.
was too.
Yep, that was me.
All right. So this is our first night we've done it. So what does everybody think?
Love it.
This was
love,
yeah.
love it. It's fabulous.
Don't get saucy with me, Bernays.
Oh my God.
That was funny. That was good. That was good. I'll give it to you, Tony.
I'm curious from the chat whether they liked and enjoyed this. That's what I would love to know. So if you guys
I don't know,
could
but
let
I
us-
converted. I guess Lori from prepping for heaven. I think I've converted her into a cookie butter fanatic as well.
Fanatic. Yep.
I'm
That
gonna
is
go get
funny.
some tomorrow and try it. I've never tried it.
So good. And if you melt it a little bit, like put it in a small dish and melt it, you'll be able to drizzle it on stuff.
You know what I bet that would be good with? Because I just really want something carby. Is a piece of white bread
Yeah.
with some of that fluff on it.
Oh, she
Yes.
loves
Oh,
fluff.
I love fluff.
What is fluff?
And then some of that on it
You
with
don't know
another
what
piece of
fluff
Marshmallow
is?
cream.
Marshmallow
Like
cream.
I know Tom's like, no.
No. Your keto
Tom said,
guide
"Don't
is
do
pulling you
it."
away from that.
I know you know what Tom is? Tom is like, he's like my keto sponsor. Like,
Right. You got to call him up and be like, I think I'm going to eat carbs, man. I'm feeling weak.
Who are you waving at, Dale?
I was saying hi to Butler Family Farm. They said, "Guess it is over."
Not yet.
What is fluff?
Fluff.
Marshmallow cream.
Marshmallow
Yeah.
fluff.
If you put the marshmallow cream over the Biscoff, you're overdoing it. You
I
will ruin it.
won't do
You
that.
will ruin it. It'll be too
Now you
much.
can take
All you'll have is
marshmallow
sweet.
cream
You won't taste
and you can
anything
make
else.
fudge with it. You can take
Oh, I
marshmallow
know
cream.
what you're talking about now.
You
The
just get
fluffer nutter
Fluff is just
sandwich.
Oh, it's
fluff
the-
is
It is
a
like a
brand
fluffer
name.
nutter.
It would be a Biscoffer
A
nutter
Biscoffer
sandwich.
nutter sandwich.
Ooh,
Fluffer
Biscoffer
Biscoffer
nutter
sandwich.
butter.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. What
I'm
you
just
said.
thinking
You are
you get a tub. You
That's
get
what
a
she said.
tub of fluff
Yeah.
and get your spouse and go have a good time.
Dale.
For late night with Kettle.
I'm leaving keto that
Well,
night.
you're
Yeah,
probably-
anyway.
Going off
Rooster's like,
keto.
oh my God, no.
Yes.
No.
Rooster's like, I can't unsee that.
I think we need to do a live with just Dale.
Okay,
Right.
okay, I want you to
Yeah,
see.
like-
I want you to
and
see.
like
the
three
face
a.m.
of
Gotta
so
get
no
lunch
one-
going on there,
Like,
Rooster.
oh my
The
God.
real,
I can't believe
real
my
late
dad
night.
said that.
super late
He
night.
See
is
if we get our
sitting
channel
right next
banned.
to his
Hey.
son as he says that.
Hey, it wasn't
double
dirty.
D late
You all
night.
are making it that way. I'm just
Right.
thinking marshmallow fluff, some
Dale,
chocolate.
Dale,
It's a good
you
time.
And a
just
spoon.
Dale, you just led us all halfway to hell.
Right. He's gonna be hiding in the closet eating it with a spoon. Like,
Okay, for
I would not
clarification,
share
Dale,
it.
For clarification, since you're trying to back out of it, what did you mean go have fun with the wife in a jar of fluff? Could you explain that to us?
Please clarify.
Rooster's like, please don't.
Do you need pictures, Tony?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Please stand by. A video will be coming later.
On your channel. On
Right.
your channel.
Is that a short video, Dale?
That's a whole different station we've just tuned into.
I love what Daniel just said though. Is that a short, Dale?
Oh man, shot through the heart.
And you're too late.
I do want to say one thing, Dale. You remember the cookies that you and Nana made for, I think it was 12 days? No. The ones where you put the peanut butter in between the Ritz and then you dipped it in chocolate. You can do that with fluff as well. And it turns out fantastic. And then you never know if you're getting a peanut butter or a fluff. So good. Yeah. Sorry, Jeanette. Look at her. She's like her eyes are glazing over.
I was going to say,
those were the days.
I've seen this whole realm of emotion on Janet tonight. With Rusty Greens on the balsamic vinegar, like stone cold. And now we're talking about fluff, and she's
this is life without sugar.
Christmas tree.
No, it's sad, isn't it? It's
She
like,
was a little sugar junkie.
oh my god, I was a
She's
total
sitting
sugar
there with
junkie.
grains of sugar, like here's some sugar.
I put the Jolly Ranchers right in my vein. I love sugar.
That makes
You
two
can't
of us.
take carbs away from an Italian though. No pasta,
That's
no
the
bread.
hard part.
Brewster
Yeah.
said, please send help. Immediately. Right, Brewster? Immediately.
Zoodles. Zoodles are delicious.
No, you know what? Nothing's
you see
pasta.
Rooster's comment?
Pasta's pasta. Zoodles are zucchini imitating pasta. Just like cauliflower crust is not pizza. I mean, I'm too smart for this.
We've had this conversation
telling
a
me.
few times.
You're not telling me that this food is something it's not.
We made a cauliflower recipe the other night though that I think we're going to share on a video, and it has a spicy topping on it, and you roast it off in the oven. Oh my god, we're gonna have to make that for you guys.
I'm sure it's delicious. I love cauliflower. I just don't want it imitating my pizza dough.
One thing that we found, because we did a lot of cauliflower replacement recipes a few years back. The one thing that is amazing is potato soup. Instead of potatoes, put a chunk of cauliflower in it. Yep. Oh my. It's like a whole nother level. It is way good.
Because it's like peppery. Cauliflower can take on that peppery flavor. We haven't tried it yet, but this summer I want to grill cauliflower steaks outside on the charcoal grill. I think that's amazing.
What I found is, like, I've been using a lot of shiitake mushrooms. Like, if I make soup or something, like I made a chicken soup with kale in it and mushrooms, and it tasted like chicken noodle, but when you chewed the shiitake mushrooms, it really did chew like a noodle would that's been sitting in soup. So
yeah,
you gotta trick yourself. But there's some things that I can't be tricked with.
Hey, we need to do something. Oh, sorry.
We need to what?
We need to go send a welfare check on Rooster. He's sending
out SOS.
Yeah, we need a welfare check.
Come to Lubbock, Texas, Rooster. We'll hook you up.
Wink twice if you need help.
That's a distress call. We know, Tom, cauliflower rice is not rice. And I agree with you 100%. Actually, let's just go 110%. It is not rice. It's still freaking cauliflower, no matter how small you make it.
It's little cauliflower.
But as someone who doesn't like rice, I like cauliflower rice.
Because it's not rice.
I like how you said that. You made it like a verb instead of a noun or an adjective.
Right.
I like that. I like
Right.
that.
I love it. You guys are funny.
It's a good replacement if you like to put things like chili on top of rice. I like rice with chili on top.
No, that's how my parents ate it. I don't like it.
Oh,
rice
I
and
love
Dale
it.
turned his hat around.
I love it.
I was gonna say apparently now Dell needs
Now
help.
we're confused.
Yeah, I don't see Rooster holding you hostage.
Right.
Oh yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's got both of his hands up in the camera. Where are yours?
So
Gina,
Janet and
we
Daniel,
keep
have
going
you
down
tried
that slide.
the roasted spaghetti squash yet?
Roasted spaghetti squash,
I've roasted spaghetti squash before, but we have not done it yet
like as a
on
keto
keto.
thing. No.
I like
Like,
it.
I mean, it's
because
it's-
Tom has
I mean,
I
you
like
like
squash.
squash.
I
yeah.
like steamed squash. If I'm gonna make squash like from the garden, when we get out of the garden, I'll chop it up.
It's a squash
and
that when you
steam
cook,
it.
it comes out real stringy.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
That's
you
It's
the
called
squash I
spaghetti
had didn't
squash.
do that.
Scrape it
It
out
was
and
chunks
Yeah.
steamed.
get out.
You can turn, you know what, Janet? You can take that spaghetti squash and turn that into a lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
You can totally.
I was
do it.
actually for Michelle's little casserole thing gonna make a vegetable lasagna, and I was gonna use eggplant on my mandolin shaved really thin to use as the noodles, and then just make the rest of my lasagna stuff for it.
And then you need to
But
get
the
that
spaghetti
spice.
squash would be good too.
Yeah, and then you need to get that spice from Blue and make yourself
Oh, the Italian.
some moussaka.
Oh, the moussaka. The moussaka. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, I thought you said
Spice.
ginger.
I
Yeah.
bet if you added some egg to that spaghetti squash,
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, my name is Morocco Mo.
It totally would.
I bet that would set like a layer. It's a good
But,
idea.
you know, I always, when I cook it, I take it, and once I get it all pulled out, I will roll it in paper towels to get as much of the liquid out of that as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I layer it like the lasagna, and it's really good.
Yum.
Well, and then also sprinkle
think-
some salt on the eggplant for a few minutes and let it sweat
Yeah,
out.
it takes the bitterness out.
Well, and it also takes out water, so you don't have that slimy texture.
Well, I was gonna cook it like I cooked my eggplant and my parmesan, which like you cook the eggplant first,
Yes.
you know, to get some of the water out, and then you have to make it into your eggplant parmesan.
What are you going to use for breading on that? Are you going to use?
Nothing.
Oh,
No.
you're not going to use.
I don't like pork rinds, crushed pork
You can
rinds
do
as breading. I'm not
chicharrones,
a fan of
Those cracker things you made were good. I know
Those
you hated
were-
them. I liked them.
bleep. That's what those were.
I liked them.
Those were
She
bad.
hated them. She's like, these are horrible. And I'm sitting here eating them like, these are really good. She hated them, but I
So
liked
why
them.
don't you take your, what was the waffle thing that you guys made?
Truffles.
Waffles.
Why don't you take that and then just kind of chunk it up, let it dry out, and then chunk it
Mhm.
up in your food processor
I
and
could
roll
do
it,
that.
and roll it in that.
Right,
was
make
pretty
my
good. The
own
truffle was
breadcrumbs.
good.
Yeah,
that's a
truffle
good idea
breadcrumbs.
too. Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, I
interesting.
did
Blue,
not
were you
like
gonna
those.
Blue? Were you gonna say something?
I think part of it is not looking at what you can't have, but looking at what you can have,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
start focusing on
That's
what you
good
can
point.
have.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
spent the
matter what you
last 2
can't
years
have.
in the can't have zone.
Because if you keep looking at what you can't have, your brain actually focuses more on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But if you look at what you can have and start focusing on what you can have, your brain actually starts to forget about the stuff that you can't have because it doesn't see it as a loss. Because what happens is that your brain actually goes into loss mode and goes, oh no, now I need to crave it because I can't have it. So that's why you end up with massive, massive carb cravings, but you don't actually need to have those if you're focusing on what you can have.
Yeah, I don't really
Rather
have
than what
carb
you
cravings anymore. Like the carb cravings are gone. I just
Yeah.
have that mental, I don't like being told what to eat.
No.
I totally
I mean,
So-
Can I
so-
say something about that? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I saw an interview that I reposted on my page. That was just Jason Keto interviewing Tom, and they were talking about those things that you can't have. Don't try to replace noodles with spaghetti
Yeah.
squash,
Right.
if you try to replace that, you're never going to be satisfied. You're still going to want a regular pasta noodle.
Yeah.
But if you try to
Right.
make it a different dish altogether and just forget about those, you will, fall in love with a bunch of new stuff and try to replace the stuff you can't have with something.
Yeah,
Is
Right.
the way that they
That's why I don't.
it
That's why I
makes
don't like
perfect sense.
cauliflower crust, and I just want to. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
embrace cauliflower, but not as. I don't want it to be an imposter for my pizza.
Yeah.
So you're
The other
saying,
thing is-
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
the other thing is that I know you're very focused on Italian food and stuff because that's your heritage, but there are millions of recipes out there that have nothing to do with noodles, nothing to do with pasta, nothing to do with bread, and they are all amazing. And they are.
We don't do that here.
We don't
do that here.
I mean, it was only when what's his face went over to China that he brought pasta back to Italy. I mean, they've had dishes for millennia that had nothing to do with any of that until
We don't do that here.
Well, you might not do that, but your wife doesn't do that there.
And since we're on this topic, I just want to say one thing. So I spent 2 years following my doctor's orders: low fat, low cholesterol, low sodium. And what that got me was high blood sugar, and I gained 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when you go low fat, they put sugar in things.
Yeah.
And when you go low sodium, they put sugar in things. And I ate very clean, but all those things that you see on TV with your documentaries, and people just take big scoops of fruit and put it on their plate, and big scoops of vegetables and put it on their plate, that will make you fat, people. It will make you fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what they've been telling us, and even what my doctor told me, was wrong, because
I remember like growing up, and most of us are from relatively the same era. Some at the beginning, some at the end of that era.
Did you say error?
That's what I heard, error, and it's like, I am no error.
Anyway,
I wasn't
moving right along.
Thanks, English police. But moving on. We were told for years that everything that is good for us was the bad thing.
Yeah.
Natural fats, steak, pork, cooking with lard. All this was so bad for you. It was going to kill you. Well, guess what? They've proven now. That's all the good stuff. That's why we all have heart disease.
You know what I think happened? This is what I think happened, and I fully believe it, because I'm not going to listen to anybody tell me how the hell to eat my food, because I think all of us as humans.
You go, Tina.
I'm with Janet on this. Kiss my butt. Because I think at the end of the day, we as human beings instinctually are born with the knowledge of how to eat. It was only when we allowed science and the diet industry and the big conglomerate corporations get into our food supply to push whatever stinking agenda they had with their little chemicals in on us, when we became heavy.
They're giving us their garbage and telling us it's good for us.
That's right. And that's when we became diabetics and overweight. And so here's my philosophy. When I'm on my deathbed, I'm telling you that I'm not going to be regretting. I'm not going to be thinking about, dang, I wish I would have ate more salads and I shouldn't have had that.
Right.
I'm not going to be thinking that. I promise you. I'm going to be wondering, did I love enough? Did I make a difference? And did I tell them all to go kiss my ass? Probably.
Amen.
Here's
Good job. Hey Tony, can you pull up Tom's
Yeah, we're proud of you, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got off of another episode.
Nice.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
That's it. But see, this is the thing. You have a look at like the Diabetes Association, the Cancer Association, the Heart Foundation, all of those associations. you have a look at who's sponsoring them.
Exactly.
All the answers that you need to know. And then you have to stand back and go, I ain't listening to you anymore.
Yeah.
Because you are pushing an agenda that you know is wrong.
Mhm.
And it's not okay.
People are so
If
confused.
McDonald's is one
You
of their
were
biggest
born.
sponsors, then you know that's not
Yeah, right. There's something
like-
wrong with that food thing.
Yeah, but there's also like, you know, other organizations as well that are like, hang on a second, why are they getting involved with this? Is that to make it look so it's legit? And you're just like, hey, why?
We were born with the knowledge on how to eat.
Yeah.
You know, it was when we let everybody else come in and tell us and confuse us as a nation on what was good for us and what wasn't. And the doctors are getting kickbacks. The pharmacies are getting kickbacks.
Yes.
The food industries are getting kickbacks. The dairy industry, the beef industry, the poultry industry.
Yeah.
And they're killing us. They're killing us.
And look at the cheap food. The cheap food
and they're killing the land.
What's affordable is what is
the
bad.
worst. Yeah.
Is the worst stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I look at it this way, plain and simple.
I agree with Tom. If
200
you
years
eat
ago, you
food,
had
anything.
people that were eating meats and potatoes and root vegetables and making homemade breads and things like that. I guarantee you most of them were not overweight. Most of them, they may have had medical problems, but for the most part, not like we do now.
Yeah.
They survived. Okay.
But they're even, but the all the crap that they're putting in our food, I've got a blown out thyroid. I've had my thyroid radiated of all things in my life to have happen. I was a cheerleader in high school, for God's sake. You know, now I'm gonna have to go back and tell all those people, I'm sorry, you really were pretty. Because now I feel guilty because I was a mean. It killed my thyroid. You know, it blew it. Nobody in my family has a thyroid issue, and then all of a sudden, you know, I go along with all of the new whatever out there, you know, because I was in that, oh, let's try this fad diet. Oh, let's do this. Oh, they know this, you know. And in the end, I sacrificed my thyroid for it. So it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Rhonda Towery, I think, is spot on there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Cooking from scratch.
Need to cook from scratch.
Yeah.
Grow yourself a little garden if you can. Even if you have a balcony or a sunny window, grow something and, you know, just try eating the food that you've grown.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's like, you know, back in the 50s, just after rationing was finished, that's when all the intensive farming started because they wanted to get more animals back out for people to be able to eat meat because obviously there hadn't been that sort of thing. But, you know, all of a sudden we're now eating 15 times the amount of meat that we used to eat in a week. And that's not during rationing. That was before rationing because we were only having 15 grams of meat, which is 2 ounces per meal. Now we're having steaks that are bigger than the plates we have to put them on.
Yes. Triple
You know,
burger.
where, you know, there's a side salad that is basically a limp lettuce leaf and a slice of tomato with maybe, if you're lucky, anything else.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's gone the other way. We used to have like what was known as gruel, and I know everyone says it's disgusting, but actually what it was a grain and vegetable porridge. And that was a staple over here for a lot of people because they could only afford to, with another family, cull 1 cow and 1 pig per year. This is not, you know, buying 5 cows and culling 4 so that you can eat them all with your one family for the year, or 3 or 4 pigs for 1 year for one family. This is one between 2 families, you know, and not having 150 meat birds. This is having like a small flock that, okay, that one stopped laying, that one's going in the pot. And that's how it worked. And they were eating seasonally. They were eating what was coming from the land seasonally, not waiting for imports to come in who happen to have that sort of thing coming in, or hothouse tomatoes or stuff like that. This is all sort of like was doing that, and everyone was walking around. They weren't jumping in a car and going, 3 minutes to the shop. They were walking it.
I made this point the other day, and I can't remember where we were, but somebody was saying, it's turned into where convenience has overrun us as well. And to a degree, I will agree, for human nature, that's what we've become. And I get that. But I thought to myself, when you cook from scratch, it takes you, let's just estimate, and anybody can disagree if I'm incorrect, and please do. Roughly, it takes you a half hour to 45 minutes to make a home cooked meal. Sometimes you can get it less, sometimes it takes more. Okay. But most people will go sit in a McDonald's drive-through for 20 minutes waiting to get their food. It took them 15 minutes to get there, and they'll drive 15 minutes back. How much is the total time there I just stated?
That's what we talked about.
You're not buying convenience. You're buying a mental status is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You think it's easier and faster to go get McDonald's than it is to stay at home, when you actually, in reality, could have had 10 more minutes with your kids or your family, or doing a chore around the house or something else. So I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm glad you brought up family, Tony, because, I think as a society, I'm not talking country, I'm saying worldwide society, we need to do a better job of teaching this.
You're not a man, you're not a boy, you're a this now. Okay.
We need to teach our kids better how to cook from scratch.
Yes.
But that also, though, but wait a minute, Dale. We also lead by example. Are we ourselves cooking?
I agree.
Because Blue's right about the 1950s, because what happened after World War II in the 1950s is when they decided there was like the convenience food industrialization of the world. We ended up with macaroni and cheese and TV dinners. I mean, they show tons of commercials. If you look at the retro commercials of the woman in the apron, and she's so happy because she's just pulling the foil off of the TV dinner.
The hungry man. That was a hungry man.
Hungry man, yes. And so that's when that industrialization, that revolution started to make that.
It all started with the war, because all those things were made for the troops, and then they brought them to the public when they came back.
But
they needed shelf-stable food. For the
and also the other part of that was many of those women, when the men were off fighting the war in World War II, they were also, that was the first time we see them go out to work, and they were working in the factory. And so then they made the cooking convenient for the women. And then we have cake mixes all of a sudden, and we have TV dinners all of a sudden. We have pre-made everything. So the women can, get out of the kitchen, and they should have just damn stayed there.
But the issue we've got there, Dark Lord Minute, is that in the 70s was the first time that women were allowed to have a bank account on their own. Okay, so then they could go out of work, and the problem then as well, that in the 80s there was a massive explosion of rents and property prices, and inflation just skyrocketed from where people were able to buy quite a massive house for like $5,000, whereas now they weren't able to do that. And over here in the UK, they went from the imperial money measurements of shillings and pence and stuff like that to pounds and pence is what they have now, because they'd gone through the whole thing with joining the EU, or the European market as it was known then. So women were going out to work because they could go out to work, because they could earn their own money, because they stopped. During the 80s, people were being paid into their bank accounts rather than by cash. So if you didn't have your own bank account, that money was disappearing to your husband, who could have been just drinking it away or walking away with it, and you wouldn't have access to it. So now women had more freedom because they had a bank account of their own and could legally do that without jumping through massive hoops to do so. so they
Right.
could then go out to work.
And the other thing too, because it was kind of touched on a little bit, and it's kind of the segue to bring the chat kind of towards an end. Sunday, we're going to talk about food fraud. Anybody have any idea about
Oh,
food
You know,
fraud?
okay.
Oh, are we
You mean
talking about companies that go to different companies and put their food in for acceptance and then change the ingredients after they've got their acceptance certificate?
That's one
sure, those
example of it.
too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they do that here.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about
What?
food that our body doesn't even recognize as food?
That's another form of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to what I've been able to understand, and based on a conversation with Blue just in the last 24 hours, excuse me, I know of 4 versions of food fraud, and we will discuss those because I think it's important for people to watch it. If you're going to do the pantry thing and you're going to waste the time to go through that, it's not a waste, but some people think of it that way. If you're going to take the time to go through that, you really should know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of ties in a little bit back to the conversation we had of comparing apples with apples, not apples with oranges. But moving
Yes.
forward into the pantry dive in we're all doing, I think it's important for people to know what they're reading. That's,
You know, when I used to go to Michigan with my ex-husband and we'd go hunting, you always had a big breakfast before you went hunting real
Mhm.
early. And they'd always put meat on the table, you know, breakfast sausage. And I'd
Right.
be like, what are we eating today? And they're like, mystery meat. And that's what I think about food fraud.
yeah, it's
That's
the
why
truth.
anytime Daniel asks me, have you eaten raccoon? I'm like, yep. You give it to the animal. And I
Yep.
ate it because it was
Yep.
all mystery meats.
Rhonda
Yeah.
brings up another version of it, putting it out as one size, but it's actually not that anymore. Or
Yeah.
something you've been used to being. Good example. We always bought a pound of bacon. Well, they're no longer pounds anymore. I'm here
No.
to tell you. So,
Or 5 pounds of sugar,
Yep.
which is 4 pounds.
which
And
is
Dark
now
Lord
4
Minute. Actually, I know what he's talking about.
Yes.
I just watched that
Yep.
whole report about that.
We had an issue with that over here as well.
Yes.
It was over there that it happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
See, that was while we were in the EU before the whole Brexit thing happened. And in Europe, it's normal to eat horse flesh. It's just normal. They've got specific butchers for horse meat.
It is in Mexico too.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
In the
and
United
it's
States,
the
we
same in
export
China. They
turkey.
do it in China as well. They eat donkey.
Mhm.
It's a normal thing for them.
Right.
So
Mhm.
you know, when it turned up in Tesco's, a major supermarket over here, and they started putting it in their burgers, yeah, people suddenly got a little bit upset about that because, like, you can't eat flicker, you know.
Because horses are
Flicker.
somehow cuter than pigs to
Yeah.
people.
Wilbur,
You
come in
know,
the
Joel,
room.
I don't get. 'Cause I love me some pigs, so I'll eat
Mhm.
anything. I don't care.
So yeah, they had to pick their shelves, and they were not happy. People were not happy about going to them for a while, but they kind of went back very, very quickly because
Right.
Tesco's is one of the cheapest supermarkets. So it's like
People, if people really knew how nice these animals are, they wouldn't want to eat anything.
True.
Because pigs are very sweet. Turkeys act like dogs. People don't
Yep.
know it. I mean, if you don't raise turkeys, you don't know that, you know, they'll be as sweet to you as a dog. But
Yeah.
somehow our society has figured out what's too cute to eat.
Yeah, because they're pets.
Mhm.
We never naturally had pets. The only people who
Right.
had pets were the aristocracy. They had pets. The ladies had lap dogs and lap cats
Right.
Mhm.
to keep them company. That's the only people that had pets. No one could afford a pet. Are you kidding?
Mm-mm.
If
Yeah.
the
I'm
dog
telling
didn't,
you.
or the dog or the cat or the animal didn't have a job, it ended up in the pot or it wasn't there. Period. You know?
All right.
Well, I think one of the
Yeah.
ones that Tony shared with me that he's going to share on Sunday is going to surprise a lot of people. So you better come for Sunday's viewing
Yeah.
Do we have homework for Sunday, or we're just gonna you're just
Whatever your
We'll
food
just
fraud that you can think of.
freewheeling it?
Yeah, any food fraud you can think of and look into. That's what I would like to know. That way we can get out to as many people what those, because excuse me, I'd never heard of it until I stumbled on it, and when I stumbled on it, I was blown away as to
He
the
stepped
information.
in it like dog poop.
I did, literally stepped into it, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me? Really?"
And then he rubbed it
Dale.
on my shoe, and I was like,
I
"Are
think you really
kidding
look
me?"
into it, and the biggest fraud you're going to find is organic. That's the
Dale,
biggest
would
fraud
you
will find.
please bring about on Sunday your plethora of information
Yes.
of the fraud of organic, please, my friend?
Yeah.
Oh, we can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
the
All
biggest
right.
one's organic. You know it.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever read anything put out by Michael Pollan?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
have a
Very
couple
familiar.
things.
I just listened actually on an audio book, and I've listened to it 3 different times, and I don't have my phone right in front of me.
Which one is it?
Hold on. Yeah, watch. It's not going to be that guy.
Lori, prepping from heaven. I think there's a realism to the institution of it,
Yeah.
but in the reality is what she
Yeah.
just said there.
You
Organic.
can't-
Yeah.
And I also
Brand.
need
This is
to
not
say
true.
that
Hold on.
might be where
Michelle,
you live,
hold
but
on.
it's not where we live or where I
For
live.
US is all I'm referring
Yeah.
to. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I
This
mean, there is
actual
some
book-
chunky stuff involved with it, but not to the level that you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll make
I'm
that
excited for
disclaimer on
Sunday.
Sunday. So try to remind me of that, Dale.
Yeah.
Okay. Ginger,
Okay.
somebody that
Yes.
doctors, Michelle, whoever's
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Don't let me forget to make that because I do want to
Might
make that.
have to be now.
And don't forget, we'll all email Tony our recipes so he can put them in the description
Yeah,
box.
if you guys do that, that'd be
Yes.
great. Michelle,
Yes.
did you were saying something?
I was
Sorry.
just going to finish letting Tina know it's Joel Salatin. That's the guy that I was listening to, and it's called "Folks, This Ain't Normal," and it's about the industrialization of food and farming. It's really good.
And what's his name?
His name is
Joel
Joel.
Salatin.
Joel Salatin.
Last name is Salatin.
Well, make sure you check out Michael Pollan.
Okay.
And he has a series. He's got a book out called The Omnivore's Dilemma. I read it years ago, but it's really, really good.
Oh.
That's where I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's really good. And he's got a series. He's got a book out, but there's a series on Netflix called
Yep.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we've watched all of those things
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah,
over the years.
that's him. That's him.
Okay.
And so he's got a lot of books out, but check it out. He follows the trail in the Omnivore's Dilemma.
Yeah.
The U.S. meat supply comes from, and it'll scare the hell out of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things before we go for the night, guys?
Can
No, I
I?
enjoyed
saw-
sharing recipes. That was very fun and positive and uplifting and everything else.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Blue something because I saw a thing. They're starting to put crickets into flour and stuff in England. I didn't know if you've seen anything on that. It's like bug meal. They actually mix in ground up crickets into flours and stuff.
What?
Excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You and I need to talk. Okay.
Yeah.
We need to talk.
They're starting to
I
do
need
that
to
over
get
there.
lined up real quick and just get wheat berries because damn, no.
Yeah.
Lori must
More,
have seen
more
that
coming
too.
at
I'm not
5.
against eating bugs. I'm really not against eating bugs because in certain countries they are a new product and they've been eating them for centuries. I've got no problem if they're going to put something on my plate and I'm going to eat it, because otherwise rude. But they're not going to do it secretly to me.
They're sort of
No.
doing it as a
Yeah.
filler, basically. It's a cheap filler and you get protein out of it. Bug meal. So yeah, bug
I
meal. It's a
didn't
bug
think they were allowed
flour.
to do stuff
It has a
like
different
that.
name though. It's not like cricket flour. They came up with a fancy name for it.
Ginger, what were you going to say?
See you Sunday. Don't forget to stop by tomorrow for the 500 sub giveaway. Win a prize.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, thank you to everybody in chat. Thank you to the people who have modded. I've seen a few. Thank you to all of you guys. Appreciate it as always.
We don't down, Ginger.
Brought to you by Biscoff.
We don't have successful chats unless
man,
you
they
guys
need to
are.
sponsor me.
Andy says grass fed's another mystery to her. Well, you know, and Dale, you can back this up. All cows are grass fed. It's what it's finished. Is it finished with grain or is it finished with grass? So,
Yeah, it's on the finish.
And
and I'll tell you what, people, get the grain finish because that's got more fat in it and it tastes better.
There you go.
Yes, Jerry. 4 p.m.
This
My
kid
time.
right here looks at thousands of carcasses at a time, and he can enlighten you a whole lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Between them.
Are you coming Sunday, Rooster? Are you going to be there?
I'll try to make it.
Rooster, you are always welcome to come on the show. So
yeah,
there you go.
Rooster.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend. Hopefully everybody stays safe, and we'll see you Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and next Friday.
See you next time.
Yes.
See you guys later. Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.